Think about it for a second. If you've been thinking, I don't want a divorced woman, how does that change your mind on what a divorced woman is? If she managed to get a divorce because she was abused, would that change your mind? If the answer is no, well then maybe just, stick to your guns. I want a woman that has never, been married before, and because that will give me a better opportunity. If you're talking about less sexual partners, well, if she's been married for 5 years and she's 27 years old, she's probably had less sexual partners than a woman that has not been married for that long. Okay, today we're going to talk to you guys, our thoughts about dating women who have already been divorced, or as we like to call them, divorced women. Now Luba wants to share some thoughts on this because she's very passionate about this, aren't you?
I'm very passionate about divorced women.
As a Ukrainian woman. So she has views on that, and I have the views of a Western man, and most of you guys watching this obviously are Western men, and I think that my thoughts and your thoughts can correlate together. They can work together, but I also want to share some other thoughts, knowing dating women from Ukraine.
So basically what's happening, most of the guys who are dating overseas, they have their criteria of search. I would like her to look like this, I would like her to speak that particular language, I don't want her to have a child, or I don't mind if she has a child, and I don't want her to be fully tattooed, for example, and one of the points is like, I don't want her to be divorced. So if the first topics that, I want her to be blonde or red hair, I want her to speak English or don't speak English, I want her to have child or not have a child, and even about tattoos, I understand, but about the divorce, if the lady is divorced then she's not good for him, I couldn't understand for a long time. So I I came for the advice to our Stryker and a public one. And I asked him because I could understand it. We have the first kind of issue with that. I think about 3 years ago, we have a client and he said no divorced ladies. And I was like, okay, so I completely was lost about that. So I asked Stryker and we came to a conclusion. So there's a huge difference between divorced lady on the West and a Ukrainian lady. And I think that you would be better to describe that.
Well, first, what I would say is that I fully understand what the guys here are saying. Now, quite often, you can come up with this conclusion from different points, right? So one of them could be is that maybe you were married to a woman who was a sociopath, for example, and you think, well, the reason that we got divorced was because she was a nutcase. So the women that are getting divorced, there's a chance of them being a nutcase, right? So that's one thing, right? So, okay. Another thing is the, sometimes this is pushed in the manosphere, that they are used goods. Some man got rid of her. If some man got rid of her, why would you want to take her on? Why would you want to take on some other man's, seconds or something that he's discarded, right? And I used to think these things as well, right? Also coming from the West and my own experiences in the West and seeing stuff that was happening in the West, I also thought this as well. And you may think to yourself, the best way to think about this is to start with a fresh slate, a woman that has never been married before. And you may think that that somehow gives you the upper hand in having a relationship where you're going to be in a relationship with a woman who's going to respect you, that's going to care for you, that's going to be a good wife, pretty much. But that's not the case at all. I remember one of our very first clients, he was a younger guy, and he said that he did not want to have a relationship with a woman who had, been divorced. And there's two parts to this, right? And I'll explain the second part in a minute. But the first part, when I explained this to him, he changed his mind. He said, okay, I understand things a little bit differently now. And what I said to him was, you have no idea how a woman became divorced. Now, what happened if that man beat her up every day and was, literally abusing her, right? Physically, mentally. And I'm saying, actually doing that, not just some psychopath woman, say from the West, who says that, he hit me because, whatever happened, But I'm saying really, he beat the shit out of her. He was drinking every day and he beat the shit out of her. And you as a man, you want to protect women, right? So the last thing you should be doing is saying, okay, I don't want her because she was abused or, beaten up every day by her ex-husband. I don't want her because she's used goods. well, you as a man need to really take a look in the mirror and say, like, what you say to women, if you cannot at least have an open mind about a woman that has been beaten up every day, for example.
I think this is coming because, like, on the West, divorce is happening like for very, very, very different reasons, and like the way how the guys on the West ending up at the divorce and the guys in Ukraine with almost no obligations even to the child, like that's why the difference is so significant.
Well, yeah, and that's the second part of it, right? So when we think about divorce in the West, it is brutal, right? It is absolutely brutal for men because, you know, you work your whole life, you have a relationship, you get married for maybe a few years, and she just can wipe that out. Not just wipe that out just then and there, but into the future, whether it's through alimony, through child support, whatever it is. Maybe not even child support, right? Whatever it is. And that is a lengthy process, and that can go on for years and years and years, right? And in that time, you cannot function, you cannot work, you cannot, you know, work to your full potential because you have this, you know, this
stress,
court case and everything hanging over your head, right? And so we think about those things, and we think that for a woman to put a man through that, that's, you know, she's got to be pretty evil, right? On different levels. When it comes to divorces in some of these other countries like Ukraine, divorce is a really, really simple procedure in comparison with how it is in the West, right? It's some paperwork. I kind of joke about this, but it's kind of true. It's harder to go and renew your license in Ukraine than it is to get a divorce.
But
right?
that's true, especially like if the kid's not involved, like that's just like almost like one.
But even if there are kids involved, it's still not that process,
Yeah.
and you'll never fully understand it because you're from Ukraine. You've never known anyone to really, you know, actually go through it themselves. But to know how that is in the West,
You mean in the West?
In the West, it's very, very brutal. And a man, by saying, I don't want a woman who's done that to a man, because that's how it is. The women do that to a man. They get the free lawyer, they take the man to court, you know, they get the kids, they get all that stuff. They naturally get that stuff that's built into the Western court system, the family system there, for them to naturally get that stuff and to really destroy a man. So they think, I don't want to do a woman who took advantage of that system, right? In Ukraine, there is no system that is like that, right? It doesn't exist. Not to the extent of what it is in the West, right? And because it is so easy to divorce, you know, people always talk about how, well, the divorces are so high in Ukraine. That's because it's so easy to divorce. The divorces in the United States is like 50-50, right? Something like that, I believe. If they were as easy to divorce as they were in Ukraine, fill out some paperwork, 2 weeks later, you're literally divorced after a few weeks. If it was that easy, the West would also have 80% divorce rates, right? The men would be just signing these things, going, "I get rid of her," you know, get rid of her. The women would be signing the relationship away, the marriage away, and that's why the divorces are so high. You know, it's not because like the women are inherently evil, bad wives, or anything like that, or because the men are all alcoholics and they beat their wives up every day. It's just because it's so easy to get married and get divorced. Plus, you also were saying about how, you know, they get the age here, they get married a lot younger. Yeah. It's really true because a lot of Ukrainian people, like we talk even now, like we had a shooting. She's not divorced, but she's 22, so she's already married. Shooting? You need to explain what shooting is.
Photo shooting. We were taking some photos, but like the photographer is 22, she's married, and you know, who knows what's gonna happen. And her husband is a bit older, but anyway, so people are getting married very early, and this is another issue that on the West, I think it was always like that. People like they need to study. They study longer than in Ukraine because by the age of 21, 22, you already finish your university and then you can do anything you want. When in United States, like it's much longer and people usually get married a bit later, but anyway, still divorced, right? So in Ukraine, like some ladies, yes, we do have, like, why I see this problem, because sometimes guys avoiding them, not choosing, and I'm not paying attention at that because of course I don't remember which girl is married. I don't really pay attention at that. Like, I will be honest with you, for me, when the lady registering at the agency, I don't care, like, was she divorced or no, or is she, like, I mean, it's important for her to be divorced to be in a database to make it completely clear, but I don't care, like, I don't look at her personality worse if she's divorced. But and when I send my recommendations, like, I know that this lady will be a perfect match. And recently this happened and the guy say, I would stay away from the divorce. And then the last part, I just said, Stryker, we need to do this video to explain, because I understand that the guys try, like when they date overseas, they try to avoid as much as they can, right? They try to think of this and this and this and this, like, and try to, like, okay, this for sure I don't want, like this for sure I don't want. But that is really very different. And also in Ukraine, unfortunately, the divorce process, as Stryker said, it's very, very simple. And the guys literally have nothing to lose. Like they're not losing anything. I'm not saying about like a long marriage where you have a lot of assets together and stuff, but especially if it is a younger lady, like the guys sometimes don't even pay the child support, because a lot of people are like, I mean, at least used to work illegal, not register anywhere, so by papers he is like unemployed, so where would he take money from for the child support? And so the lady was getting like a very, very, very small amount from the government. So the divorced lady on the Western in Ukraine, it's like, I don't know, they probably should even have a different names, right? Like, because it's uncompatible, like you can't compare that. Guys, sorry to interrupt. I just want to invite you all to our Telegram closed community. The link in the description below. Why should you subscribe? Is because we're going to announce there soon invite-only events that we're gonna hold there. You can message me or Stryker or both of us directly and ask questions. It's the fastest way to reach out to us. You can get support from other members of the group who are our clients, potential clients who are already done it, and successful clients. And also you can get to know our recent updates and news from the hard market and a little bit of a backstage videos. So I will be waiting for you there.
You know what's interesting though, and I just thought about that then, was that we've never had a woman say, I don't want to marry or meet a man who's been divorced. Yet it's very likely that if she's divorced, there's a good chance, because of some of the culture that's in Ukraine, that she had a bad experience, right? And we see this because they never want to date men who drink.
If she is asking to date a guy who is not divorced?
Yeah. What they're more concerned about is a man that doesn't drink.
Yes,
rather than
but you know what I want to say? You said something about like the lady, like the guy think that if she's not divorced, like she will be more caring and loving and like maybe build this like lifelong lasting relationship. But I want to say from what I see that if the lady is divorced and she know exactly how she doesn't want this relationship to be, she understands that this guy, for example, being abuser or something like that, like she will cherish you a lot, knowing that you are different. Like like we don't like to be compared to anybody, and like I always say to the guys, please don't talk about your ex, don't say that like anything about your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend. Nobody would like to be compared, but like the lady, if she was with a bad man and then she become with a good man, she would cherish you and treat you so much better and understand the value. Because even like recently I've been speaking with one of the ladies, and she was telling like, Luba, like all my friends were telling like I was always dating like some schmucks. I was really dating somebody so bad. I never saw that until I met this guy.
That's actually a really, 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 really good point, because you know, one of the problems you can have with younger women is they don't know how good they've got it. They don't know what to expect in life, and they think that they can achieve anything they want, they get any man they want, and there's no real priority when it comes to you know, the amount of time that they have left. When a woman gets older, that biological clock starts ticking, and they start to go, oh shit, I need to get things in the gear. I need to, you know, think of relationships a little bit differently, a little bit more seriously. And we see that, you know, with our clients as well, right? The younger the woman is, the more headaches that they can be. Right, we'll say that.
The more headaches they can have.
Well, but that's the thing, and it's like, so they don't know what's out there, right? So a woman who hasn't been divorced, like you're saying, she doesn't understand what a good relationship is, or a good marriage is, I should say, and a bad marriage.
You see, our videos become like, don't date virgins, don't date girls who are not divorced, like because they don't have experience. But it's true, right?
But
like
you
only can you only can cherish the other person when you, unfortunately, like when everything is good in your life, you take it for granted, right?
The thing is like, if you take that step one step further, right? So men are going over to another country with lower socioeconomics, a poorer country, because in those poorer countries is the only way that a woman can find a man that she's going to truly appreciate to take care of her, because it's a necessity of life, right? That's why it works. Like men aren't going to rich countries, right? They're not going to Germany, right? Or I don't know, what is it, Dubai or something like that, where there's a lot of money. They're going to poorer countries so they can take care of these women, right? So they need to compare, right? So if a woman looks at a man and goes, this man is better than what I had before, that's the key to it, right? So if another aspect or another element that you can put in there is a woman that had been in a bad relationship, wouldn't she be better in terms of the fact that she would now appreciate you more? And it's no different than if you look at the fact that she's appreciating you more because you have a better lifestyle, because you can live better, because of, you know, you have more money. But that's what we're looking for, right? So I don't know. I'm not saying that you should go after women that have been emotionally or physically abused, but what I'm saying is that like flip it a little bit. Instead of thinking I don't want divorced women in my life, it's like, okay, well, you know, what would you like? Would you like a woman with no experience that's got nothing to compare you to? You know, life's all about comparison. Even with our matchmaking, we're the only company out there that says, and we know this because we're dealing with a lot of larger companies from the United States now. So, and we know that we're the only company that we've ever come across that tells you to date multiple women or speak to multiple women to compare the woman to each other.
It's
all about comparison.
Everybody's shocked about that, but
everyone thinks we're crazy.
Yeah, but it's like, and of course, like it's so much easier, like because we can. I mean, for me, I'm taking a client. It's my project, right? And it needs to be done because like I'm a person of not a process. I'm a person of a result. Like my mom, for example, she's a person of a process. She can do something like for a long time, and like I want you to be like to have result fast, and I wanted this result to be solid. I don't want you to just have a result and say, oh, okay, like we have another couple. That's why we never speak about that, you know, about like how many couples, but I want you to like have options, pick it and work on the best one. So this is our approach. So basically, you know, of course everybody has their preferences, right? Like, and and as I say, and even like tattoo, like maybe we should do another video about tattoos. Like, you know, a lot of Ukrainian ladies, they do like little logos, or they do little like a little saying, or little flower, or little like something on their body, and it considers a tattoo, right? But I know what you guys mean about like ladies fully tattooed on the waist. Like it's also completely.
It's a topic for another video.
Right. But it's like it's
I'll say this one's about divorce.
But this is the difference, right? Like that the culture, don't judge. Like that's why we're there for you. The reason that I start talking about the tattoos is like you always can ask us, and we will advise you and help you, and we'll explain you. You know what is the difference because there are a lot of differences, right? Like there is mentality, cultural, emotion, everything. Like a lot of things.
Even just saying the fact that how easy it is to divorce with a scribble of the pen and you're divorced. Think about it for a second. If you've been thinking, I don't want a divorced woman, how does that change your mind on what a divorced woman is? If she managed to get a divorce because she was abused, would that change your mind? If the answer is no, well then maybe just, you know, stick to your guns and say, I only want a divorced woman. I want a woman that has never, you know, been married before, and because that will give me a better opportunity. I personally don't think it would. If you're talking about less sexual partners, well, if she's been married for 5 years and she's 27 years old, she's probably had less sexual partners than a woman that has not been married for that long. So you have to weigh these things up, and you have to think about them in a way like we as men, we like to think of things in a very analytical way. We like to work things out, right? We have to figure things out and choose the best path forward. Some of the things that people say about marriage and divorce and pure woman and all this, none of it makes any sense, and it all contradicts itself all the way along, okay? Right. So just really think carefully about it if you are going to do it. If you're our client, we work our way through all that stuff with you guys anyway, and we try and help you understand it. But if you're doing it yourself, like you're going to put yourself in a little tiny place, no virgins, I mean, no divorces, no tattoos, no, I don't understand why I don't have anything. It's because you didn't understand what the difference is between that and the West.
Yeah, that's right. So we are here for you. If you want to speak with us or you have any questions, please book a call, and we will be happy to have a strategy call just for you. We'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you later.